What is happening, WWE Universe? Welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and welcome everyone to the recap and reaction to WWE Clash in Paris, the premium live event, which marks the final premium live event for Peacock. Yes, this is the last time WWE, as far as the main roster is concerned, will be on Peacock. From this moment on, at least until the contract expires, WWE will host or present their premium live events on ESPN. And no, not the network, their premium digital service or whatever it's called. And so this is it. I hope you enjoyed the Peacock era of WWE. Now, NXT will hold their premium live events on Peacock as well. So their relationship with WWE isn't over just for the main roster, SmackDown and Raw premium live events. But we'll address that in the future. As of right now, this was on Peacock. Clash in Paris. WWE returns to France, where was it last year or the year before last? I don't remember. When Backlash it was last year when Backlash took place, and my God, you want to talk about a crowd being invested into this show. I have never heard a crowd like that in my life. And so WWE was trying to capitalize on that with this premium live event, which I get it. But the thing that kind of irked me in the build up to this show, that's all they talked about was the crowd. I wanted to focus on the card, but the crowd was the thing. The noise, the crowd noise. I always feel like this. I'm a big believer in, if you give a good show, it doesn't matter if the crowd is in France, right here in New Orleans, or on the surface of the moon. If you put on a good show, the crowd will engage. And with all that being said, it was so much focus put on the crowd that I was kind of worried about the show. I was worried about these 6 matches that we were going to get tonight. And, the card looked great on paper. Now, the lead up, the build to these matches haven't been the greatest. WWE has, how can I put this mildly? WWE has been lazy. They've been lazy the last few months. You probably can go back a year or so. The build to these premium live events have not been hitting. Now, the stories are good. They're decent in comparisons to maybe a AEW or something. I don't mean to bash on them, but their stories. What stories over there? There are no stories in AEW, but it's just the build hasn't been there for a lot of these stories, for a lot of these matches, with the exception of 1 or 2 here. I would say since the Bloodline, ever since the Bloodline disbanded, it has not been hitting. But with all that being said, it was kind of a decent build leading into Clash in Paris. We had 6 matches. 6. And normally we get 5, but we got 6. And that's with 1 being canceled. I guess we'll talk about that first. The canceled match. And that was for the WWE Women's Championship with Naomi. And Naomi was supposed to defend her Women's Championship or the World Championship against Stephanie Vaquer, who won a Battle Royal at Evolution, the all-female premium live event. So it was like, okay, okay, I'm all in on this one. This is going to be fire. And then Big Jim, he messed it all up. Big Jim messed around and got his wife pregnant. But I mean, congratulations. I'm joking. Congratulations to those two. That is great, awesome news for them. But with that happening, Naomi had to relinquish the Women's World Championship. So the match between her and Stephanie Vaquer was canceled, and with it happening, with the announcement happening so close to this event, really couldn't find a replacement, really couldn't get any type of tournament or whatever to set up a match with Stephanie Vaquer. Me personally, I think, or at least what I would have did, was just award Stephanie Vaquer the championship. Something like when Becky Lynch, remember what, 5-6 years ago during the pandemic, when they had the Money in the Bank, Asuka won the Money in the Bank, Becky Lynch was the champion, and the next night on Raw, Becky Lynch relinquished the championship when she announced that she was pregnant, and when Asuka opened the briefcase, there was the belt. So it wasn't for a contract opportunity. The match was actually for the belt. And I thought that was a cool, not only an announcement that Becky Lynch was pregnant, but an announcement of a new champion. Good transition. Now, nothing like this could have took place with a belt and a champion, with a briefcase and all this here. But by default, it should have went to Stephanie Vaquer. But nonetheless, we'll get that probably at WrestlePalooza that will take place next month on ESPN, their first big premium live event for that company. But we'll see who Stephanie Vaquer will face for the Women's World Championship. But in spite of all that, we still had 6 matches on this card. A singles match between Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns for the Shula Fala. You had a tag team championship match between the Wyatt Six and the Street Profits. Also a singles match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship between Becky Lynch defending the title against Nikki Bella. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Rusev, as well as a singles match between John Cena and Logan Paul. And then you got the main event of Clash in Paris with a fatal 4-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Seth freaking Rollins defending the championship against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and L.A. Knight. Yeah. Really good card. Really good card that they built up here for this match. And dare I say, I normally leave these thoughts to the end, but dare I say, this is one of the better premium live events WWE has put on in a long time. Out of the 6 matches, I'll go as far to say all of them were good, but 5 of them, 4. 4 of them were awesome. Really good. I can't knock it, man. I got to give the devil his due here. Really good card that WWE gave us for this premium live event. Let's jump into these recaps and the reaction to these matches, starting with the first match of the night, the one to kick us off, start off the show, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. If you don't know the build to this match, why this match was taking place, Roman Reigns, of course, got beef with Seth Rollins, has beef with Paul Heyman, and by default has beef with the rest of the Vision, which consists of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And so he's been a thorn in their side for a little bit, coming out from time to time to foil their plans of beating up CM Punk or Jey Uso or anybody that the Vision has targeted and given an assist. So they gotten so tired of Roman Reigns, they turned the tables, start playing the numbers game, and laying Roman out. And when they lay Roman out, hey, Bronson Reed takes his shoes, his Jordans nonetheless. And if you know about Roman Reigns, he is a huge sneakerhead. He loves his Jordans. He has m- multiple shoes. uh, so stealing his Jordans is like taking one of his kids, man. You don't mess with that man's shoes. But Bronson Reed stole his Jordans not once, but twice, which caused him to be dubbed the Tribal Thief. And now, this prompted a match between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed for the rights of the Shula Fala. And that is a take off of the Lula Fala, which is what's worn by Roman Reigns as the Tribal Chief. This match, I wasn't really, I'm not going to say I wasn't excited for it, but I wasn't expecting much out of it. But dare I say, this match really put Bronson Reed on the map. Bronson Reed, I've been really enjoying him for years. Ever since he was in NXT, I really enjoyed him there, and I was hoping that he got a big push on the main roster. Unfortunately, this was during the Vince McMahon era. He got called up and immediately got fired. And so he was gone. And when Triple H took over, one of his first returning stars was Bronson Reed. And been waiting for a couple of years now. Now, I know there have been some months where Bronson Reed was injured, when he got injured at Survivor Series, when he jumped off the top of that War Games cage. And so there was a little pause there, but he's returned with the Vision, and man, he has been killing it, man. I really have been enjoying him and Bron. That whole stable, that whole faction has been doing God's work in WWE, and particularly on Raw. This match, I think, was a call to action, man. Like a coming out party, if you will, for Bronson Reed, going up against Roman Reigns, the top guy, the big dog, the Tribal Chief, and going toe to toe with him. I mean, they put on a really good match for an opener. This match went on for 22 minutes. What impressed me about it was the fact that Bronson Reed, I would say, had control of this match for the majority of it in convincing fashion. Really, really, really good match. One of the better Roman Reigns matches in a while. You know, it didn't set the world on fire by no stretch. I'm not comparing it to his WrestleMania matches with Cody or nothing, but I'm just mean like normal PLEs. He's kind of on cruise control for a vast majority of those matches, but for this one here, it just looked like he was 100% in on putting Bronson Reed over, despite the fact that he came out victorious. He still won the match, and he was supposed to. You can't, putting him over doesn't always mean giving your opponent the win. Sometimes it's the flow, the energy of the match, and giving your opponent the upper hand for the majority of the match, like he did, dominating fashion like Bronson Reed did. And that's what I appreciated about this match. Did it in a unique way that kept both of them looking strong going forward. After the match, Roman got his Jordans back. He gets on the table. He signs the Jordans and starts throwing them in the crowd. I was sitting here hot as fish grease, like, my God, I should have went to Paris. I would have bought that $2,000 ticket to fly there just to catch one of them shoes. And bought a $20,000 ticket at that event just to catch a shoe. That was worth it, man. That would have been. I'm like, man, he needs to do that whenever they come to New Orleans again. I will be there with bells on. But while he is tossing the shoes into the crowd, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Braun Breaker pops up on the other table, announce table, runs across, spears Roman Reigns through the table that they were standing on. Brutal, man. Braun Breaker has the most brutal spear in the history of that move. That move, and we're talking Goldberg, who really put it on the map. That move has been around for a while, but it was Goldberg that made it a thing. It did from there, of course, Roman Reigns used it. Jey Uso has the worst looking spear in the history of wrestling. It is horrible looking. And the list goes on and on. There's so many wrestlers that use the spear, but Braun Breaker has the best looking spear. It looks like it can cut you in half. At the velocity that he's coming at you with, the force, everything. It just looks like it will kill you in real life. And he hit Roman Reigns with that spear. This led to the beatdown of beatdowns, and I figured it was coming. Oh, I missed a major part here. Before Roman Reigns went to autographing shoes and throwing them in the crowd, he got his hands on Paul Heyman and choked him out. He choked him out. I thought he killed him. I thought he killed Paul Heyman, but he choked him out. But anyways, this led to the beatdown of all beatdowns. Bronson Reed put 2, 3 tsunamis on him. Braun Breaker gave another spear that he was at the top of the ramp. And if you look at the ramp leading up to the ring to the back, that's about 40, 50 yards. And they were about halfway through. So I'm going to say 25 yards. And I'm talking football terms. This dude sprinted back towards Roman Reigns at full speed. And if it wasn't full speed, my God, I hate to see him in real speed. And hit Roman Reigns with another spear. They went back in the ring. It was another tsunami. All right, they get forced out. Now he's strapped to a gurney. Him being Roman Reigns. He's strapped to a gurney perfectly placed in the corner. And Bronson Reed, he runs back down and hits Roman Reigns again with a tsunami while he's strapped to the gurney. And I think he hit him twice while he was on the gurney. Jey Uso tries to come out to assist. He gets a couple of shots in, but ultimately the numbers game took over. Braun Breaker hits him with a spear. I guess that was like a, come here, son, let me show you how it's done moment. And he hit him with a spear of his own that was devastating, took him out. And that's how that led off. Now, this set up a chain reaction that's going to affect this show in the main event later on. With the actions being taken here, at the result of this match, Paul Heyman has to go to the hospital. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are banned from the building. They're kicked out, so they can't come back. Seth Rollins is all alone in the main event. All alone. So he has no help. He doesn't even have his wise man, his oracle, as he called him, for that match. This told me right then and there, we into something big for this main event. Once again, storytelling. This is what I want when I watch WWE. I was all in. I was drooling at the mouth. I knew that we were in for a treat later on in Clash of Paris. Clash in Paris, I should say. This match between Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker, where Roman Reigns came out victorious, at least technically. Technically, he won the match, but in reality, it was a devastating loss. I give this a strong B plus. A strong B plus. I want to give it an A minus maybe, but I'm gonna give it a B plus because I don't like throwing A's out there too often. If you do it too much, it loses its value. So I'm just gonna stick with the B plus. Strong. A B plus plus. And I'm gonna leave it at that. We move on to our second match of the night, and it is a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship between the champions, the Wyatt Six, and the Street Profits. This was a match I think was a last minute addition. I think this was put on there because of the cancellation of the WWE Women's Championship match. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know why this match was on here. Because the match was the match. This spoiler alert was my least favorite match of the night. I did not enjoy this match. And I like everybody involved in this match. Now, it wasn't a bad tag team match. But it was oh my God, how can I put this? I don't even know the words to describe it. It's weird because it just felt like they were told they were going on an hour before this show. And we know good and well that this match was booked Friday night on SmackDown. So I don't understand why you had 2 days or 3 to put this match together. It felt thrown together. It felt like the guys had no chemistry. There was just no chemistry there. It was slow. The movements was slow. Every move had to develop, had to pause so you can get in the right spot. And I don't know, bro. I just couldn't get into it. I could not get into it. Even with the Street Profits coming out cosplaying as the Borderlands character, it just did not work for me. Well, like I said, it wasn't a bad match. I wasn't mad. It wasn't offensively bad. It just felt so choreographed. And I know that's kind of hypocritical because they're all choreographed to a degree. Every match is choreographed, but it just felt overly choreographed. It's the weirdest. I don't know how to describe it, so I'll just leave it be. Ultimately, the Wyatt Six retained the WWE Tag Team Championships by defeating the Street Profits, and they had to do it. And with the help of everybody in the Wyatt Six. That's Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross. They all had to get involved to beat the Street Profits. Now, if the Street Profits were that cold of a tag team where it takes 6 people to defeat you, we got a problem here because they haven't been booked that way. They have not been booked in a matter, whereas you needed everybody in this faction to defeat this team. It's unfortunately, it falls in the worst match of the night category, but I was entertained, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. The Wyatt Six defeating the Street Profits to retain the WWE Tag Team Championships gets a letter grade of a C-. Yeah, it was the worst match of the night. And if the worst match of the night is a C-, you know you done put on a really, really good show. So the WWE can smile from ear to ear involving this card here. This match went 13 minutes and 10 seconds. It was the second shortest match of the night, only by 3 seconds, but it involved the most people. Now I'll let you put that together. Let's see if your math is going to math. Is your math going to be mathing when you put together that there were more people involved in this match than any other match on this card, but it was the shortest match of the night? I mean, maybe it's just me though. I just love tag team wrestling so much, and the tag team division has been hurting lately. It hasn't been booked right. The matches haven't been hitting right, and it's kind of upsetting me. And these are 2 good tag teams, and to be honest with you, you look at the tag team division in both brands, whether it's SmackDown or Raw. SmackDown. Raw doesn't really have any tag teams. I don't know why, but whatever. But on SmackDown, you have some really good tag teams on SmackDown. You know, these two teams. You have the Motor City Machine Guns. You have DIY. Who else is over there? Well, it's good. Just those I just named are great, but they're not being booked right. It's just it doesn't have that flair. And number one, there's not enough because honestly, I can't think of any more. On Raw, I can't think of any. I couldn't tell you who the champions are on Raw. I know the New Day is over there, but they messed that up. But who are the tag team champions on Raw? Is it Judgment Day? No, they lost, right? I don't know. I can't remember. That's how bad it is. But I want the tag team division to flourish on both brands. I really do miss good tag team matches. You remember Black and Gold NXT? But the tag team division was fire. The tag team division was better than the world championship race. You know, it was that good. Man, anyways, we move on to the third match on this card, and it was for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. This involved Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Becky Lynch is putting her title on the line against Nikki, and Nikki never was the biggest fan. I'm just gonna put that out there. Never was the biggest wrestling fan of Nikki Bella. I mean, Nikki Bella came to prominence during the Diva era, and you know, women's wrestling wasn't what it was now. This is before NXT Takeover Brooklyn, when Sasha and Becky just announced to the world that here we are. Iron Woman, hear me roar. That was before all that. You know, we were going through the Diva era when we had bra and panty matches and lingerie mud pit matches and all that other foolishness that Vince McMahon got his rocks off about. But we didn't have actual women's wrestling during that time. Sprinkled in every now and then. Yeah, you had your Trish Stratus, you had your Litas, you know, you had other performance in the ring, but not as much as we do now, because the women's division is better than the men's in a lot of aspects, to be honest with you, in WWE. So this was another one wasn't super excited about. I was gonna watch it just to watch it. I thought this was gonna be my bathroom break match, but I got shamed. Nikki Bella came to play. Nikki Bella, this is probably one of her better matches in a long time, and I know that she was gone for a while. She wasn't in the company for a while. She got married, had a kid, and so on and so forth, going through a lot of personal stuff in her life right now, but she's back. And so I'm excluding the time that she was gone. I'm talking even before that. She hadn't put on a really good match to whereas I was excited for. This was good, man. Now I'm excited for Nikki Bella being back in WWE. She put on a really good match with Becky. I don't know how much to contribute that to Becky Lynch, you know, carrying her through the match or whatnot. Maybe, I don't know, but either way, good on her. Super excited. Now, Paris France didn't feel that way. This was the deadest portion of the PLE. For a crowd that loud, they were dead silent for this match. Crickets, unless Becky Lynch was on top. They were cheering for Becky, who was the heel, mind you. But when Nikki got the upper hand, made a move or made a comeback, silence. I was like, oh man, that sucks. You know, because she was doing good. She was actually putting on a banger of a match. These women did a good job. I think they sold it. It was a decent build leading up to this match. I mean, as best as they could. It wasn't, you know, Mega Powers exploding or nothing like that, but it was a good, fun match between these two. And I actually, for moments, thought that Nikki Bella was going over. I thought she was going to win the belt. But Becky Lynch, man, Becky Lynch, that old crafty one she is, she retained her title here. Will not be the last time we hear that name tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but she retains her women's intercontinental championship by defeating Nikki Bella with a sneak up pin. I like the name that Wade Barrett gave that move, the Lynch pin. That was a cool little name for that. But nice match. I was entertained. The match went on for 13 minutes. I thought it could have went on for about 5 more. Yeah, it could have went on for about 5 more hard fought minutes, and I wouldn't have been mad at it. Becky Lynch retaining her women's intercontinental championship by defeating Nikki Bella gets a letter grade of a strong C+. I thought this was a really good match for the time that we got, for the little build that we got leading up to it. Thoroughly entertained, and I'm excited moving forward with Nikki Bella back in the WWE. We move on to a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Rusev and Sheamus. Rusev returns to WWE a few months ago after his little stint in AEW that went nowhere. To be fair, his stint in WWE before he left went nowhere. He was over, but for some strange reason, Vince McMahon, in his infinite wisdom, did not give him the push. But he's back. He's back now. And they kind of put him in this little feud with Sheamus. They've had a feud in his first run here in WWE. Nice feud they had. Two big, sweaty men slapping meat, as Big E would say. Always put on a good match. It helps that they're actual best friends in real life. I think they stay next door. They're neighbors. They're that close of friends. And so it was smart to kind of put him in a feud with Sheamus to build him up moving forward as this threat on Raw. I'm all for that. They've been having little skirmishes backstage on Raw. They've had a couple of matches on Raw, both traded victories apiece. So this is the rubber match. This is the blow off, I hope. This Donnybrook match, which is pretty much a no holds barred match. Anything goes. It is what it is. It started off slow. This started off slow, and it needed to. I mean, we couldn't come out hair on fire on this type of match. The one thing I was surprised by this match went on for 20 minutes. I didn't think this was going to be a 20-minute match. Blew my mind, man. I mean, just blew my mind. This was a hell of a match. This was a really good match, man. Sheamus, God bless him, Sheamus will give you the banger after banger every now and then, but then in between those bangers, you'll get a weak, a slow burn of a match that you're like, oh, come on, Sheamus, it's probably time to retire. He started looking as if he moved slow, and he had put on some weight there. I remember when he got hurt and he came back, he was a little pudgy around the mid area, and I'm not knocking him because I got a lot of pudge around my mid section. But he on the other hand, he's known for being in shape. He has these workouts that he do on his YouTube page and stuff like that. But he came back, he was a little overweight. It looks like now he's back in shape. He looks better. And bruh, these dudes put on a banger. This was a banger for a Donnybrook match. Just full transparency here. A match that I don't care for. I don't like Donnybrook matches. I don't like no holds barred matches. I don't like all that. They have their place. Don't get me wrong. They have their place, no holds barred match. But, seeing them all the time is just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to see a really good match. Just straight up, in between the ropes, doing your thing, going all outside the ring, using kitchen utensils and whatnot. That's that's not my bag. But this was a really, really good match, man. Really good match. They sold the story, a really good story here being told between these two. This being the blow off match, there was a lot. There was a lot on the line, reputation wise, and we got a lot of finishes. We got a lot of false finishes, I should say. A lot of brutality between these two that you needed to showcase that because these are big, grueling men. They couldn't be weak. It had to be devastating. There had to be a level of destruction to take place in this match, and there was plenty of it, to the stuff on the outside and to their own bodies. Super enjoyed it. They had a couple of botchy moments in the match that kind of took me out of it for a couple of seconds here and there, but by the end they were all blown up. you know by going at it for as long as they did. So I didn't, it didn't take away from my grading of the match, but it's worth noting. But shockingly, at least to me, Rusev went over. Rusev wins the match, defeating Sheamus in this Donnybrook match by submission. Yes, Sheamus tapped out. And this, at the end of that match, all I can say is, okay, we're about to get a good push from Rusev. At least we should. This is the moment you should get a push from Rusev. Yeah. Because this is a strong way to leave that feud. Just to have him fighting Otis on Raw next week. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's just dumb stuff. You need to push him into a title picture, whether it's the Intercontinental Championship. But right now, the Heavyweight Championship is kind of occupied. It's a little crowded in that area. But he's in a perfect spot for the Intercontinental Championship, however that goes, whether it's Dom or AJ Styles. We'll find out on Raw. But yeah, it's time to push him. I give this Donnybrook match between Rusev defeating Sheamus a letter grade of a C+. Yeah, it's really good. Really, really, really good. I was shocked. I was really shocked by the outcome and how much I actually enjoyed this match. I don't know how else to put it. So we move on to a match that under normal circumstances would be the main event, but we had a main event that was had bigger stakes involved. Our fifth match of the night involved John Cena taking on Logan Paul in a singles match. Just a match, nothing on the line, just a simple match. Bruh. Now the lead up to this was fire. I love the John Cena promos. I love the Logan Paul promos. I don't like Logan Paul as a person. Let me just throw that out there. I think I've said that multiple times here, but I feel the need to say that every time. I want to make it clear. I can't stand Logan Paul, the person. But Logan Paul, the character on WWE, is a beast. He is a beast. His promo, he went toe-to-toe promo-wise with John Cena on SmackDown a couple of nights. He the verbal jabs were hitting. And you know how he is athletically. The only question is, will that match in the ring? Because John Cena, nobody's mistaking him for Rey Mysterio in the ring. And so we got to figure out how these two styles are going to mesh in the ring. Well, before we get in the match, let me just say this real quick. And I'm saying this with my whole chest and my whole heart. I am so mad at the John Cena heel turn. Reason being, the lead up to this match, the John Cena that we got, babyface, loyalty, hustle, loyalty, respect John Cena that we got leading up into this match, I love him. I love that John Cena. And the fact that we were deprived of that for months because of that stupid heel turn that went nowhere. makes me mad. I mean, it makes me so mad because we could have been getting this John Cena for that run, but we wasted it. It was wasted with a heel run that had no direction, something they just threw out there just to do. Now, the only great thing to come out of that heel run was the turn. It was the Elimination Chamber. That moment was one of the greatest moments in WWE history. One of the greatest heel turns in history. I think I'll put it at number 2 behind Hulk Hogan in the NWO thing. Other than that, if it wasn't for that monumental moment in pro wrestling history, this would have been the greatest heel turn moment in history. But everything after that was garbage. Between Elimination Chamber and SummerSlam were the worst periods in John Cena's career. And it's sad because this is the final run in his career. But all is forgiven. What's done is done. Nobody here owns a time machine, so we can't change it. This was great. This was great, John Cena. We get into this match. Like I said, the question marks were there. How will their athletic differences play into this match? It was perfect. This was perfect. This was almost, dare I say, John Cena's best match in years. And yes, I'm including SummerSlam from last month. This was clearly his best match in years. I don't know why this match worked. I don't know how this match worked. Even Logan Paul had me cheering for him. And not cheering for him in the way I wanted him to win, but I was cheering for him in the way I was thoroughly entertained by what was going on in the ring. These two brought the best out of each other. I cannot believe this match went over as much as it did. And I also can't believe months ago, this was before the heel turn, there was rumored that John Cena was going to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania. People were hot, me included, because I did not want that match for the reasons I explained. I didn't think their styles matched. I didn't think that the chemistry was going to be there, and so on and so forth. I just felt that wasn't going to work. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. They put on a WrestleMania level match tonight. They really did. Hands down, I cannot take. This was great. This was great. And what made it even better, once again, like I stated in the first match of the night with Roman and Bronson, they found the way to put Logan Paul over, even though John Cena got the win. It was great, man. This was basically a torch passing ceremony here in Paris between the old guard and the new guard. It was perfectly done. I can't speak on it no more. There's nothing else I can say. John Cena defeats Logan Paul. I give this match an A-. This was probably the best John Cena match I've seen in a very, very long time. And it went on for 26 minutes. This was a 26-minute match, people. It told a story. It was physical. You had blood in it. Rather, it was unintentional or not, it was there. I mean, everything was there. The crowd was completely invested. You can't get mad at this. This was awesome. Awesome. I don't know what's next for Logan Paul, but we all know what's next for John Cena. It was already announced that John Cena and Brock Lesnar will be facing each other at WrestlePalooza. They kind of treating this WrestlePalooza thing as a mini WrestleMania, like a dollar store WrestleMania that they're going to put on for ESPN, being as though this is the inaugural PLE over there. So they're bringing out the big guns, and especially since it's going to happen the same night as AEW's All Out, and so they're going head to head. So there's going to be a level of competition there. So they're going to bring out all the big guns for that event. So, but in regards of John Cena, yeah, I think that's going to be the Brock Lesnar match. Finally, we'll get an explanation there. I'm assuming they're going to start the build up for that on Raw, because once again, you only have a couple of weeks before that takes place. So you have that to look forward to next. Now we're on to the main event, the Fatal 4-Way match for the World Heavyweight Championship between the champion, Seth freaking Rollins, taking on CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. Now, I know I complained a lot about the builds and the storytelling that has been taking place in WWE the last few months, or the lack thereof. One thing I can say, involving the storyline involving Seth Rollins, involving CM Punk, that's been going on forever. And so that's easy. That's an easy link up there. You infuse Jey Uso, you infuse LA Knight, who had a bone to pick with Seth Rollins. All the lead up to this was great. This was great storytelling leading up to this match. Long form storytelling leading up to this match. Not to mention, you had bird seeds sprinkled in the first match of tonight when the Vision being ejected from the building, and you have what's his name, Paul Heyman, being sent to the hospital. And so Seth is the Lone Ranger here. You know, he doesn't have his backup. He's taking on 3 men that want to take his head off. So what is he going to do? And so you have that element. You have the element of Jey Uso and LA Knight and CM Punk. CM Punk trying to get on the same page with everybody. Everybody else is like, no, it's every man for themselves. And there's that element. Oh, you can't trust Punk. You can't team up with LA Knight and all this. I mean, so many elements to make this story pop, to make this match pop. This was also phenomenal. The main event lived up to his name. It was the main event. It really told a story, man. You continuing on with the many feuds. They told many stories in there. Punk and Jey Uso going at it. Punk getting a receipt for Jey Uso super kicking him on Raw. The first thing he did was super kick Jey Uso when they got in the ring. The beef between LA Knight and Punk. Punk accidentally put LA Knight through a table a couple of weeks ago, which prompted LA Knight to put Punk through a table tonight. Well, somewhat through a table tonight. Eventually, they team up together to triple team Seth Rollins, and that ended in disaster where everybody ended up turning on one another. Oh man, it was just all around great storytelling. I don't know who produced this match, but they deserve a pat on the back there, man. This was good stuff. Really good stuff. Once again, multiple moments throughout this match where you would believe that all 4 men had a chance to win. All 4 men had their opportunity, and it just looked like it was going to turn the table, and the build up to those moments and everything surrounding that, it worked. It worked seamlessly to the point where I thought CM Punk was actually going to go over. I thought he was going to finally get the best of Seth Rollins. Got a GTS. Seth Rollins fell into another setup for a GTS, and wouldn't you know, that slimy freaking Rollins himself had a ace up the sleeve. We saw a ninja creep through the ropes and low blow CM Punk take off the hoodie and the mask, and who is it? None other than Mrs. Rollins herself, Becky Lynch. She came and lowballed Seth crawling towards her to get her, crawls over the chair. Seth Rollins curb stomps CM Punk onto the chair. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, moving forward, we have 1,000,001 questions. We answered a few, and 1,000,000 and more popped up in typical WWE fashion. And it's it's great. It's great. I'm not saying that as a negative. You have Becky Lynch now being infused into this faction division. Is she a part of the division, or is this a one-off deal? I'm guessing this is her joining the fact, because honestly, what else is Becky Lynch doing? Who else can she feud with on Raw for the Intercontinental Championship, or while defending her champion? She can still do that, but it's really no big feuds for her, not right now. Everybody else is pretty much going to be occupied going after the Women's World Championship with it being vacated. And so now she's kind of stuck in limbo with this Intercontinental Championship. It makes sense to put her in the division. So I get all that. But here's the bigger question. Here's the $6 million question. With this being set up, is this a bird seed, a Easter egg, a possible tease for AJ Lee to return to the WWE? In case you don't know, AJ Lee is the wife of CM Punk. Everybody's been calling for her to come back for years. This is before Punk even returned. Everybody has been calling for AJ Lee to return. I've always been the biggest AJ Lee fan. I thought she was the best during the time that she was there. Mind you, this was more towards the end of the Diva era. And to be honest with you, AJ Lee really was the revolutionary. I know that the ladies from NXT, and I'm talking about the 4 horsewomen, when you had Bayley, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte, yeah, they kind of spearheaded. And you could throw Paige or Saraya in that mix too. That kind of spearheaded the women's revolution. But AJ Lee was really the first. She was the pioneer, because when she was in the Divas era, she was not a diva. She was a pro wrestler. Point blank, period. So I really do. I miss her, man. I miss her. She was a beast, bro. She was a beast. I don't know if she returns. The woman's happy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like she's clamoring to come back, because I think, according to what I read a few months back, maybe even a year or so back, that WWE asked her back multiple times, and she didn't come. She wouldn't come back. She was happy. I think AEW asked her to come, and she said no, she's good. I think that itch has been scratched. I don't think she's there. I don't think she desires it anymore. But hey, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe with her husband being there, maybe he can kind of nudge her. It's like, hey, babe. But I mean, where else are we going with this? With Becky Lynch joining division. This screams mixed tag team match for WrestlePalooza. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just putting it out there. I would love to see that. But in WWE, we trust. I give this Fatal 4-Way, which is probably the best Fatal 4-Way match I've seen in a long time. I know that sounds like a broken record today, but it's the truth. This was a really good PLE. Really good. But as far as multi-man matches, this was great, man, because I liked how everybody got their stuff in. I like how everybody looked strong. Everybody had an opportunity to win. Looked like they were going to win. Hey, I can't complain. I give this fatal four-way match where Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. Give it an A- as well. This was awesome. Awesome show overall. Uh, like I said, one or two that were in C average category, but with that being said, overall average is a great show. Hate to see WWE leave Peacock because I was comfortable with Peacock. Now I got to figure out what this what this ESPN thing is and how much it costs. I think it's like $30 a month or something. I don't see that happening. I don't know how we're gonna do this going forward, but we'll figure something out. Probably got to get a VPN, I guess, and go from there. But right now, I'm not paying for that. I got too many subscriptions. I got too many. I might as well get cable as much as I'm paying on subscriptions, bro. It is taxing at this moment. But how did you enjoy Clash in Paris with WWE, their last premium live event on Peacock? Which one of these matches were your favorite? How did you pick them? Did you see the results coming out the way that they actually did? I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction to WWE Clash in Paris. I guess when is WrestlePalooza? September 20th or something? Somewhere up in there. So I guess that'll be the next one. I'll figure something else so I can watch it. We'll get it together by then. But don't forget to come back, check us out for the recap and reaction to that premium live event as well. Everybody, be good. Enjoy your Labor Day, and I'll see you on the next go around. Peace.